G'day everyone, what is going on? It is your favorite producer from Down Under, Jhin, back with another video. And in this one, I'm going to be showing you guys how to easily make a rage sample inside of FL Studio, something that would be perfect for Trippie Redd if he ever decides to make and release a Trip at Night Part 2. But yeah, if you are new here, would greatly appreciate it if you do punch that subscribe button for me, and while you're at it, flick that little notification bell so you get notified every single time I upload a video. Friendly reminder as well that I do stream live over on Twitch every single day excluding Sundays from 8 PM AEST. So if you chuck me a follow over there, I would greatly appreciate that one also. Friendly reminder that the samples and the serum presets that I use in this video will be available to download for free in the description as well. That being said, let's get into FL Studio and let's deconstruct this sample. Okay, so here we are inside of FL Studio, and like majority of my samples, there's not really that much happening here. With this one, we literally just have 5 melodic instruments and 1 bass. Now, to begin with, I was actually listening to a lot of songs from Trippie Redd's A Trip at Night, and I actually found out that a lot, if not majority of the songs from that album have a chord progression where it works its way down and then works its way back up the progression. Now with this one, we are working in the key of G minor at a BPM of 164. And all I did was I just worked our way down the progression. We have this G minor, which then moves into the F major, which then moves into the D sharp major. On to the second part, we have this D sharp major, going to the F major, going to the G minor. It's the exact same as the first pattern, it's just reversed. We just repeat that one over and over again, and in context, this is what the chords sound like. Now, those chords did actually sound pretty decent, but I just personally felt that they felt a little bit too weak. So I ended up adding an extra layer of chords, and the preset with this one is the Homicide. Literally just copied and pasted it, and this is what these chords sound like in context. It's really simple, but just by adding that to the first set of chords that we had, it just made it sound a bit more full and a bit more unique as well, because we weren't just relying on one preset. Then we go over to this lead. Now, all I did with this lead was I pitched the whole sample down to a minor, and then I just improvised on my MIDI keyboard until I found something that was really good. Once I found something that I liked, I quantized it, made sure everything was hitting nice and even, and this is what we ended up coming up with. It's really simple, but yet again, is the simplistic stuff that gets stuck in people's heads. And that's what you want. You want your melody to become what's known as an earworm, so people are just humming it over and over and over again. You just want it to become so catchy. The next element that I added was another lead just to bounce off the first one. And the preset that we're using with this is the Qbert. And this is what the pattern sounds like. Sounds weird by itself, but once we actually add it to the other lead, it bounces off each other really nicely. Now, this lead comes in at the second part of the hook, where we have the first lead playing, and then this one comes in just to kind of answer it. We're using it as a call and response practically. The next element that comes in is from Serum yet again, and it is a bass called the I Lied preset, and it's just following the root notes of the chord progression. In context, it just sounds like so. Then it repeats over for the next bar, but as you can hear, it just works its way down the progression, then works its way back up, following the root notes of the chord progression. The last thing that we added in is this bass from Serum. Now, this one was made by AidenKenway, which, if you don't know who AidenKenway is, he is the deconstructive god of YouTube. He just breaks down really popular songs and majority of the time gets some almost perfect in regards to what presets were used, what drums were used. He is just a madman. This preset is what he made when he was deconstructing Mr. Rage, and in context, it just sounds like so. Now, this bass is just being played at the end of every bar, just so you know it kind of has a bit of a transition. That's what I wanted to use it as. Going on to effects with this one, we literally just have an EQ with every single last serum, just cutting out the low end so it wasn't creating that muddiness. Once that is done, we have every single last melodic instrument being routed to its own track, which is the melody bus. And with effects with this one, we have a sound shifter where I did pitch it down to semitones, but that made it a bit too muddy. So I ended up just getting rid of that, didn't use it. We have a Valhalla vintage verb come in with the mix on 30%, pre-delay on 0, and decay on 0.6. The low cut on 500 because we didn't want reverb to affect the low end because that creates muddiness, and that's something you do not want. The preset with this one is the tiled room though. We have an RC20 come in with the preset Tri-Freeze. Now, if you do want to download this preset, link to it will be down in the description. I made it myself, and this preset is also available along with so many others in a pack of mine called Nightmares Volume 1. So if you do want to cop that one, I'll be leaving a purchase link to that one also. We have a vintage chorus come in where we're using the second mode. The noise is all the way off. The mix is on 80%. And then the master mix over here is on 30%. An EQ just to get rid of some of the low end, because with the effects previous to it, it was actually adding in some of that low end, so just wanted to tidy it up. We have a portal come in with the preset of grain swells, which we do automate. We also have an Vox stereo come in because once we added in the portal, it kind of messed with the volume a little bit. So the compression is just to make sure everything is loud. So, you know, the quiet parts are actually becoming loud. Once we added the compressor though, there was a bit of an issue with peaks. So that's where the Fruity Limiter comes in, just to control those peaks. So, you know, the sudden really loud spikes of it, I just brought it down a little bit just to make it sound really nice and tidy. But yeah, that is how you can easily make a Rage sample inside of FL Studio for an artist such as Trippie Redd if he ever decides to make and release Trip at Night Part 2. But yeah, if you are new here, would greatly appreciate it if you do punch that subscribe button for me. And while you're at it, with FL Studio for an artist bell so you get notified every single if he ever decides to make. Friendly reminder as well that a bell so you get notified every single. So if you can chuck me a follow over there, would greatly appreciate that as well. But thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you all next week for another video.